school is the way I would describe myself. Though when I did, after I did, you know, when I was qualified as a radiographer and all the rest, now my colleagues would say to me, "You, mousy, definitely not." But what I'm saying is, you know, I always felt a bit on the back foot. I was not very confident socially and things like that. I didn't have much to talk about. I don't do superficial conversation easily.
Chit chat.
Chit chat, yes. Thank you. And so I got by asking questions.
Yeah, that makes you a really interesting person, isn't it? That's
yes.
You're remembered more for that because you're interested in other people, and they think,
yes.
"Oh, she was lovely. She kept asking questions. She was interested in me."
Yes. Yeah, and then I went off to radiography, and I thought, oh, this is just glorified photography. I'm sorry, photographers. I know your job is not like that, but it's how I felt it the same. I grew up since then. And I went into IT because also my last year of school, thereabouts, I went and did an aptitude test, and they said, "Oh yes, come along when you finish school, come." And this was with Old Mutual in South Africa. You know, they're on the London Stock Exchange. There's been some recent changes there, but they with maybe a different name. I don't exactly know what, but they were a big company in South Africa. But I wanted to study something and do something with maths. Loved maths. So I ended up doing radiography, and yeah, as I say, I was done with that. And then went back to the IT thing, worked for First National Bank there for Y2K, which was a long time ago. Yeah. And, you know, from a political perspective, Nelson Mandela had been freed. We had the new South Africa. A lot of people were leaving South Africa, the brain drain and all of the rest. And I'm thinking, so if I had to go somewhere, where would I go? And I was married to a Brit, a British subject, and got British citizenship before we got divorced, long before we got divorced, before that was even on the cards. But I never did anything with it. So I thought, well, and being a lazy person, it was, well, if I want to come to the UK, that's it. And I know I'm probably stretching the story a bit further than it needs to go. Anyway, long story short, I came to the UK, and that was quite an adjustment. And I needed to seriously help myself. And one of the ways I helped myself was to do a coaching course.
Right.
I got my coaching qualifications. And I just gradually grew up more, pardon me for want of a better word, got more clarity about we need to have deeper connection, we need to have, and I wouldn't have put it in those words, you know, but just the whole idea of we fix this problem, we achieve that goal, we have this profit. What about the people? What about the people? I became more and more interested in the people, to the point that there came a point where I just didn't fit there anymore. And yeah, I guess they noticed and they said, your face doesn't fit here anymore. It's time to bye-bye. And by that time, I'd done my coaching qualifications, and I thought, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then we started the learning all over again.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
So, yeah, so I left there. I thought, oh gosh, I'll be a life coach. I've done the corporate thing. I've done the business thing. I'm going to work with ordinary people. And I molded myself. Fresh Eyes Consulting, dealing with difficult conversations, but I never said it was about relationships. Didn't know anything about branding, marketing, all of those things. What I did notice, though, was that when I had conversations with people, it was at the business end, or the business side, that I brought the value, and eventually switched to being a business coach, because that's where I bring the clarity. That's, you know, my IT training has positioned me for that. and asking the questions, you know, seeing where the gaps are, etc. And my own journey has prepared me for what people's reactions might be, how they might be feeling, where they may be at, what's stopping them, and being with them when they explore that. Because sometimes, you know, these coaching conversations can go into our vulnerable spots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so being with the clients when they're there is one of the ways that I am unique, because I'm there my way, the baobab way, as I say. And so basically that's how I got to where I am today.
So
Yeah.
what would you say is your passion? I mean, you've just mentioned the baobab way, which is, if you want to share that philosophy, but what is your passion within your business? When someone's in front of you, what's the thing that makes you go, yes, great, fantastic?
Because I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow. I want to see them happy. I don't like to see people struggling. And I want them to bring their, to use Andrew's words again, I want them to bring their joy and genius to the world. That's why we're on this earth, to bring our joy and genius to the world. I mean, why would we be given something that we're particularly good at? You know, because we all have talents and abilities and things like that. And it's there for us to bring joy and comfort and happiness to the world, to ourselves as much as other people. So, yeah, that's my passion, if you want to call it that. And what I've discovered last year, because it's taken me a long time on this journey, last year was a very personally focused year for a number of reasons. So even though I have the corporate background, the skills, the methodologies, the tools and things to go out there and help smaller, when I say smaller, struggling businesses, businesses that want to grow, businesses that are stalled for whatever reason, businesses where there is a leadership team or a management team, they're just not efficiently working together. You know, my intention was, I'm going to be working with companies like that, get them growing, get them thriving again. It's just not happened because I couldn't put my energies there last year. And so I ended up working with a number of therapists, actually. And they, in many ways, they're my ideal client. They have the same similar ethos to me. They come from a similar, if I say, soft place as me. They open-hearted. They want to make an impact, a difference. You know, they want people to be happy. They facilitate that,
and their heart goes into that.
Absolutely.
And the business side of things kind of goes, ooh.
Exactly. So that was an interesting discovery that for me last year. So you know, clarity comes from all directions.
Yeah. It's true. So tell us briefly about the BOAB. What is it again? Baobab way. Baobab way. I can see it spelled. It's just Baobab way. And when we were on holiday in Florida, there was a massive baobab tree there, and it's like, oh wow, it's upside down. So I get the concept, but do you want to just share that as well? Because I'm brilliant.
Yes. So, you know, I worked with a coach. Because I was in that place where I needed help. I couldn't figure it for myself. And I think you've heard me say before that I used to be a very, I used to be dysfunctionally independent. I can still be dysfunctionally independent. But anyway, I found myself a coach, worked with him. He said, what do you want from this? And I said, this. You know, I'm so much more. I can bring so much more to the world, to my clients than just fresh ice consulting. It's so bland. It doesn't describe what I do. It doesn't summarize what I do. It doesn't contextualize what I do. And as Erkan and we say in BeCollaboration, context is key. it's so one-dimensional, and none of us are one-dimensional, even though the world insists on putting us in our little boxes and keeping us there.
Yeah.
So I said, I need a new name for my business. I need to find out who I want to work with, and the whole story. And so I sat with myself one day and I said, well, if my business was a tree, what kind of tree would it be?
Okay.
And the word baobab came to me. Baobab? Because I thought oak? No, not oak. Beech? No. Yew? No. Oak. A baobab.
A baobab, yeah.
So I went and researched the baobab tree, because clearly I've heard about it, but I didn't know that much about it. And I liked what I was reading.
Mm.
And basically this tree's got a very fat trunk, most of them, all of them in fact, some fatter than others. It has leaves about 3 months of the year. The rest of the time it's without leaves, so the branches look like roots. That's why it's called the upside down tree. It can hold a lot of water in its trunk as well. It as it grows older, it grows hollows where people can go and rest. People can take safety. Animals can be safe in there. So that was that safety aspect. And the fruit of the baobab is very nutritious, very, very nutritious. In fact, it's one of the power super fruits.
Oh, okay.
It's so full of vitamin C and magnesium and all sorts of things. I've got to talk about it. Anytime you want it at BeCollaboration, just tell me, I'll come and talk. And so I resonated with all of that, because I could see who I was being when I'm with my clients, how it fitted. It was an analogy for how I was. So that was the tree. But now, is it consultancy? Is it whatever? What else? Because it's not just the baobab. And then one day I woke up with a word, way. It's the baobab way. Okay, cool. And so that's how it came about. And it's taken me a long time, actually, almost to grow into the concept, if you like. Because I remember this coach saying to me, you are the baobab way. You are the baobab. It's like, oh, no, I'm not. Because it's just so much.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's what I stand for. It's who I am. It's, there's like 110 uses for the baobab tree in terms of the leaves that you can eat, the fruit that I told you about, the pips in the fruit that they use in Africa for babies to teeth on, the fibers that you can use to make hats with and make handbags with, brews that you can make to soothe headaches, to soothe the skin. If I think of everything that I bring to my clients, can do project management, we can talk about speaking skills, talk about personal development, we can talk about so many things, and some of my clients will say to me, I'm just astonished, Riana, it doesn't matter what topic I bring to the table, you can help me unpack it. So
where when you were saying to yourself, if I were a tree, what tree would I be? And this came to you, and you were rejecting thoughts as well. Oak, no. Beech, no. And this came to you. Where do you think that's come from?
The heart, somewhere else. It just resonated, or did not resonate. It wasn't a logical thing. It was not a mind thing. It was a feeling thing. It was a senses thing. It was, I don't know, spiritual thing. It was whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think it's identifying it for yourself of what it is, because then you can access that again at another time, can't you?
Absolutely.
What I'm alluding to is when you did a genius slot one time at BeColl, you talked about the different emotions and how
Yes.
they resonated in different ways. And I'm
Yes.
desperately trying to think of the book that you took that from. Is it